All right, take two. Good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Phinizy. I'm chair of ANC 34G, and I'd like to welcome you to our public meeting. It is 7:02, and we have a quorum of six commissioners present. So, I'm sorry, five commissioners present. So we will go ahead and begin our meeting, and we'll get started with commissioner introductions from left to right on my screen, starting with Commissioner Gosselin.
Hi, I'm Peter Gosselin. I represent District 06, which is largely the west side of Connecticut back to Friendship Heights between Military and Western Avenue, the Chevy Chase Circle, with a peninsula to the east to Nevada between Military and Legation. Welcome tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Nagy.
Good evening. I'm Liz Nagy. I'm the commissioner for ANC 34G07, which runs from Military Road south to Chevy Chase Parkway, east over to Nevada, and west over to Reno Road. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Grunewald.
Yes. Hi, I'm Carol Grunewald. My SMD is 03, and the boundaries of that are Utah Avenue to the northeast, 27th Street to the east, Broad Branch to the south and the west, McKinley on the north, then it jogs north and east along Nebraska where it rejoins Utah Avenue. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Sherman.
Yes, hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Bruce Sherman. I represent Single Member District 02, which is on the eastern side of our commission area over by Rock Creek Park, bordered on the south by Military, on the west by Utah, on the east by Oregon, and up to Tennyson, and then it extends up to the Chatsworth, Unicorn Lane, and Oregon Knolls developments.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I am Commissioner Laura Phinizy. I am the chair, and I also have Single Member District 4, which goes from Western Avenue in the north to Utah Avenue on the east, McKinley and Nebraska on the south, and Broad Branch Road on the west. And it includes Lafayette Elementary School and Lafayette-Pointer Park. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Appreciate your being here. Okay.
Commissioner Simmons, sorry, Chair Phinizy. Commissioner Simmons is actually here.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Please introduce yourself, Commissioner Simmons.
Hi, Commissioner Simmons, Single Member District 05. It is the east side of Connecticut from Legation all the way to Western Avenue. My Single Member District goes all the way back to Broad Branch. It borders Ward 3 and 4. And also in my SMD includes the Civic Core site. I'm not able to join on camera today, but I am here in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so just some meeting procedures. We ask that everyone please keep their mic on mute unless they are directed to speak by the chair. That really helps reduce reverb. Also, Commissioner Nagy is going to try to run the timer so we can make sure that comments are limited per person to 2 minutes. When we have commissioners, we'll make sure that everybody gets to talk, who wants gets a chance to talk once before somebody gets to talk twice. So now we have the agenda. What is tentatively on the agenda, on the draft agenda, has adoptions of May 27th and June 8th meeting minutes, resident announcements, discussion but no vote about a grant on Chevy Chase Main Street, discussion and possible vote, Lafayette-Pointer Park Erosion Project, discussion of poor service at the post office, commission business, and commissioner reports. Does anyone have a change to propose to the agenda? I see Commissioner Grunewald's hand.
Yes, Chair Phinizy, muted. Mute. Okay, am I muted? Unmuted. Okay, I'm muted. All right. So I have invited Sergeant Philip Robinson to attend from MPD to attend our meeting this evening to speak briefly about a phenomenon called TikTok Door Kick Challenge, from which a family in my neighborhood is suffering. So I'd like to, since Sergeant Robinson kindly took time to appear this evening, I would like to ask that we can speak briefly about that early on in the meeting, so Sergeant Robinson doesn't have to spend too much time at the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so that sounds like might slide in nicely after resident announcement and comments. I see Commissioner Gosselin, you have your hand up as well.
Yeah, I suggest that we put a limit of 10 minutes on the treasurer's report. Towards the ends of the meeting, the last several meetings, we've ended up getting into very complicated fights over small amounts. And I think that it would be good if we could take care of that piece of the business in 10 minutes.
Okay, so are you, okay, so you
I
recommend,
mean, if it need be a motion, it's a motion.
okay,
But
right now we have it as 10 minutes on the agenda, so you're asking that we
I guess I'm
formally
asking
stick to it.
to stick
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Commissioner Sherman, I see your hand raised.
I will join Commissioner Gosselin in modifying his proposal to make it 2 minutes.
Well, all right, so would you like to make a motion of no more than 10?
Sure.
Go ahead, make a
I'll move
motion
it.
and then we go ahead.
But it's on the agenda for 10, so I think we're
Okay,
good.
well, all right, we'll stick
Yeah.
to it then. Okay, thank you. And I had heard from a constituent about bus service. I do not see that particular constituent here, so I will not take that up at this moment, but there may be something.
Chair Phinizy,
Yes, Commissioner Simmons.
thank you for reminding me. I wanted to add that to the agenda for about the better bus service update. If the resident doesn't join, I can read it.
Excellent. So I'll put that in after the post office, so that it can go in, you can take part, maybe after the commissioner, I can go in there before the treasurer's report if the constituent is there, and if not, we can slide it in with your commissioner report of that. Okay, all right. So are there any more proposed amendments to the agenda? All right, so what I have proposed is that we have MPD TikTok door challenge coming after resident announcements, commission business treasure report, no more than 10 minutes. And then there will be a better bus announcement, either read by Commissioner Simmons or by her constituent. And that will be towards the end of the agenda. All in favor? Do I have a second? I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. All in favor of adopting this agenda, please raise one hand, say aye. Okay, and Commissioner Simmons, are you voting to adopt the agenda? Thank you so much. All right, Commissioner Sherman, I didn't catch your hand. Was it up and I just missed it? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, all those opposed? Okay, by 6-0, the motion stands. And for constituents who are wondering why I'm actually asking for the nays when it's unanimous, that's like a point of Robert's rules that we're just supposed to do. Okay, so now we go to the adoption of May 27th and June 8th meeting minutes. Commissioner Grunewald.
Yes, I'd like to move that we adopt the minutes for May 27 and June 8. Do I have a second? Thank you.
No, I have, no, sorry. I would like to make a change, please.
All right, so hold on. Did we have, is this a motion to amend the motion or is this a second?
No, I didn't get a chance to unmute before everyone moved on.
Peter
but
seconded it.
I'm not seconding it. I would like to make a change.
Peter seconded it.
Okay,
Okay.
so if
right.
we second it, then we can have discussion now
Okay.
about
Thank
it
you.
before, and I think that's where you can come in. So Grunewald moved, Gosselin seconded it, and now Commissioner Nagy will begin discussion. Thank you, Commissioner Nagy.
A very short, simple change, and that is in the May 27th minutes, under paragraph D, Connecticut Avenue Business Engagement Report. In the third sentence, Commissioner Gosselin and former ANC Chair Robert Gordon reported on outreach. I think that what's important is that Robert Gordon is a local business owner, not that just that he's a former chair. So I'd like to change it to former ANC Chair and local business owner, Robert Gordon.
I'll be happy to make that change.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Laura, do you want to call the vote?
Yes, so do we have a second to Commissioner Nagi's amendment to the minutes to add that Robert Gordon is not only an ANC commissioner, but also a local businessman? Is that a second from Mr. Gosselin? Okay, all those in favor of
Hey,
adding?
Sherman has his hand up.
Oh, is that a question or a second?
You're on
You
mute.
are muted.
You're on mute, Bruce.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're going to vote on this, and then if there's another suggested change, we vote on that separately, or we do them all at once.
Well, I think it might be easier to do them separately and then
Okay.
we can,
My motion was for both of them.
but we don't know what Commissioner Sherman's is yet. We haven't heard.
Okay, so fine.
So let's vote on Commissioner Nagi's. It was seconded by Commissioner Gosselin. All those in favor of Commissioner Nagi's amendment, say aye. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed. And Commissioner Sherman, I'm thinking your hand is not there for opposition. It's just up and to raise hand.
Right.
Okay. And all those
So what was the,
abstaining? Hold on. Okay, Commissioner Simmons, I did not catch your vote. Did you vote on
Yeah,
this?
it was for it. You
For
had
it, okay.
asked it
I'm
before.
sorry. So that's a unanimous 6-0 to have that particular amendment. Commissioner Sherman, did you have another amendment to the minutes?
Just to the June 8th minutes, just very brief to note that when we discussed the resolution that we have now forwarded to district officials, I did indicate at the meeting that I would be looking at issuing a rebuttal to the minority opinion, which then became a concurring opinion, as we know, but the minutes don't reflect my intention to do the rebuttal. So I just wanted to add that quickly.
okay, so that's DCPS response, right?
No, not DCPS response. It was simply the resolution that we discussed and approved at the last meeting.
Oh, the resolution, sorry.
Right. And they note that I did voice my interest in an intention to issue a rebuttal, which
Okay.
for the members of the community who wouldn't know this otherwise, it isn't a rebuttal now, it's a concurring opinion that went with the resolution, but the minute should reflect that I did state an intention to issue the rebuttal.
Okay, yes, I would be happy to include that.
Well, we have some comments. It looks like Commissioner Simmons.
Yes, I would just adding on to that, just so the minutes reflect what actually happened. I think it should stick that Commissioner Sherman said he would do a rebuttal, but then have a caveat that instead of submitting a rebuttal, that Commissioner Sherman submitted a concurring opinion so that it's accurate. So if someone was to audit or review our minutes, they wouldn't be expecting to see a rebuttal because there isn't a rebuttal. There's a concurrent opinion.
All right. Your comment is noted. I see Commissioner Nagi's hand up as well. Comment?
Yeah, sorry, thank you. It seems to me that isn't the comments that were just made don't actually reflect what happened at the meeting, so we would be rewriting what actually happened to say that. To say that it was changed to a concurring opinion and implying that happened at the meeting, and it didn't.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
I don't want to belabor this. I really don't.
Okay. And my understanding is that the minutes have to reflect decisions made by the commission. And so there wasn't a decision made at that point, as I recall, about that, because we looked at the timing for the minority opinion and made sure that there would be enough time for Commissioner Simmons to get into her opinion. And I looked at the bylaws, but we didn't know if a rebuttal was possible. So there wasn't a decision made on that at that time. That's my recollection. Commissioner Sherman?
Well, only that the minutes, insofar as we understood what might have been possible at the time of the meeting, it was subsequent to the meeting, I think, that we discovered that there needed to be a shift from rebuttal to concurring opinion. It's not a huge issue. It just in that it's come up since the meeting. We've had conversation. The public hasn't been privy to about it. And at the meeting, we did discuss it, and it was part of the consideration of the resolution. So for the sake of just accuracy, if we wanted to add a parenthetical note separating out what subsequently happened, we could say that rebuttal became a concurring opinion. I'd be fine with that if that works, whatever.
Okay, Commissioner Grunewald.
Yeah, I'll go back in the transcript and look very carefully at what the transcript said and craft something that reflects what occurred.
Okay, so can I, so are we ready to vote on did you have an amendment you wanted us to vote on at this time, Commissioner Sherman? Are you withdrawing a proposed amendment?
Well, what I just indicated was if the minutes could reflect what happened, if that, and what Commissioner Grunewald is indicating is that she'll go back and take a look at it. But I'm simply suggesting if the minutes reflect that was the stated intention that was incorporated into a decision by the commission to issue a resolution with a minority opinion and a rebuttal. So that's how it was resolved at the meeting. And for the minutes to accurately reflect that. And then again, if we want to add a parenthetical note that it became a concurring opinion, as I say, I'm fine with that.
All right, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes, I just wanted to add that Commissioner Sherman just articulated what I previously said. So thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm glad that we are on the same wavelength. So we had an amendment sounds like to reflect the sense of in the meeting that the intention was to do minority opinion and rebuttal, and then have a parenthetical note at the end of the minutes to include that there was no rebuttal, but there was a concurring opinion. Is there is that your amendment, Bruce? Did I capture it correctly?
You did.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I see seconds. All those in favor of that amendment? Okay, all those opposed? Okay. Okay, so by 5-1, that amendment passes. So now the motion is whether.
No,
Excuse me.
Phinizy, I voted for it. So it's 6-0.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your hand went up a little later. Thank you for the correction. Okay, 6-0, the amendment passes. So now we have a motion to approve the amendments with the May and 27th and June 8 minutes with the 2 amendments as previously approved.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor? And it looks like, okay, there you go. It looks like there's just a little lag time in getting your hand up there, Commissioner Simmons. So I'll make sure and wait for it for you. Because it looks like it just takes the signal's just taking a little longer. With the wane, I think sometimes it gets a little slow. All right, great. Well, thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Grunewald, for your hard work on the minutes. I know they take a lot of time. Resident announcements and concerns for things not on the agenda.
So I don't know if I got put on the agenda. I got on late.
You're going to be towards the, we had put you on towards the end of the meeting. Cal, did you have, is that okay? Or Commissioner Simmons offered to read for you if that was.
I preferred to be on in the first half of the meeting if that's what I've written.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I don't see any other resident announcements. I do see Ann Walters. Let me ask the commission for a second. Could we consider Cal's Better Bus presentation as a resident announcement and just put it on at this time?
Yes.
Sure. Anybody? We're all good with that?
Fine by me.
Okay, so thank you. So Mrs. Walters, if you would just kindly wait a minute, we're going to take this Better Bus announcement, and then I'm guessing you have a DC plug, but we'll put you in after the MPD TikTok. So we'll go in that order. Okay.
Oh, sure, I'll wait.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Cal, did you have something that you wanted to share screen, a presentation, or did you want to talk about the buses?
No, I want to share the screen.
Okay. All right. So give me just a second here.
I wasn't quite ready, but I'll just be ready.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who may not know Cal, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure.
Okay,
I'm
and you should be able to share screen when you're ready.
okay. I'm keeping my camera off because I wanted to be shorn for this meeting and that didn't work out. So don't want to frighten anybody.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
so I am one of the co-chairs, steering committee members of the Friends of Bus Transit, also known as FOBUS, and Michaela Platzer is also on the call. Uh, Jim Nash and John Wheeler, the other two members. And so I work very heavily deep into WMATA and somewhat with DDOT on issues that are not specific things like a bus is being late consistently or something like that. Well, sometimes. But anyway, um, and what I'm going to present is, let me put up the presentation here. Let's see.
Okay.
So I could try this in presentation mode, but I don't know if it'll switch between slides.
It
So
should, if you hit your down arrow or your enter key, it should go. We can see it nicely.
is it switching?
Yep, it's moving.
Great, great, great. Excellent. Let me hide the participants. Okay. So we have some changes that have already happened as of yesterday. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the first slide. Hold on. The first slide. Here we go. Okay, we have
Okay.
changes that happened yesterday. We have rail changes that are happening in a couple of weeks, and then we have changes that started in May to the tools that Ramada provides. So I'm going to start with the bus lines because that's our main thing. And they're going to be the line 83, which is our Chevy Chase community bus, and then a change to line 81 in Nebraska and Tenleytown. Both went into effect yesterday. New signs have been, I keep clicking and it keeps taking me to the next slide. Okay. That went into effect yesterday. Both of these changes are changes that reverted back to the way things were before Better Bus in this when these were the M4 lines. So for the past year, many of you take the bus in Chevy Chase know about the loop where it comes up Nebraska Avenue, north on Utah, up Western and south on Oregon, and then down Nebraska. So as of yesterday, this last piece of the loop from Knollwood to the intersection of Utah, Nebraska is eliminated. And it looks like this. What will happen now is it will turn around at Knollwood and go back up Oregon. There are no northbound stops on Oregon, and they've put back the signs for all the stops on Chestnut in the westbound direction, all the stops on the westbound Western Avenue direction, and they changed the stops on Utah Avenue to reflect both the C85 and the C83. So it's essentially the same route in both directions, with the exception that it travels a different route in one direction and the other up here in Hawthorne. But this is the way it was prior to Better Bus. This also resulted in a stop being removed at Nebraska and 28th near the Murray Field. I didn't have anything to do with that, but that's how it was. So there's some schedule changes. This is not supposed to be bullets. Whoops. This is supposed to be one thing. Trips after Knollwood turnaround, after the Knollwood turnaround are going to be 5 to 7 minutes longer because they're going to retrace their steps all the way back through Hawthorne and Barnaby Woods and returning to Friendship Heights about 5 to 7 minutes later. So the schedule won't change going eastbound to Knollwood, but it will start to get slower and slower as it picks up because it has a lot of stops that it didn't have to make before. In this piece here, because before it was just having one stop between Knollwood and this intersection. Now it's got like 20 of them from here to there. Now the stops aren't used all that much, but they do slow the trip down, which means it can arrive back at Friendship Heights as late as quarter till the hour under in some situations. Okay. The second change is line C81. And for the past year, I think this is blue. I'm slightly colorblind. So
Yeah.
this was only these stops that went to the Tenleytown Metro and the front of the main entrance of Jackson Reed were only served by the school in rush hour C85 and C87. The C81 skipped all that and just came straight down Nebraska Avenue. It didn't stop until the west side. So that's now been reinstated. So all the Nebraska Avenue buses, whether it's a school bus or the all-day C81, now stop at all the stops. The C87 actually skips a couple, but the C81 and the C85 stop at all these stops around the corner. So that's the C81. Then we have more schedule changes. There's minor schedule changes on all four of our buses, C81, 83, 85, 87. And there's one new school day trip that's been added, leaving Tenleytown at 3:30 towards Fort Totten for people who have to go across the park or people who want to come up, who live off of Military between Nebraska and the park. So I think that's the end of the bus presentation. Yep. So any questions? Should I do the whole thing and then ask questions? There's a lot of information here, or should I take questions on this first? What do you think?
I think we got to kind of keep it tight. Do you have more information to give us, or is
Oh,
this?
yes.
Okay, if you
Yeah.
can give it to us, and then maybe either send us the slide presentation, we can link it to our ANC website, or we can put it in the chat for people, or both. I think that would be great. And I see Commissioner Sherman has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Cal, for the presentation. And before you move on to the rail service changes, just on the bus changes, the changes you've just described on Nebraska go right through my single member district. And I don't recall WMATA undertaking any engagement or outreach when they just instituted the Better Bus Network changes a year ago. So do we have an explanation of why they did this?
They did it well. It's usually the 1-2 punch of community members writing in and giving them feedback and saying, "Hey, this is not working for us." So since we don't get all the feedback that goes directly to WMATA, although we're trying to work that out so we can get feedback sent to us and WMATA at the same time, but we're not quite there yet. Probably another month. It was a largely community members who griped about the way it was because the people who lived up in single member district 1, 2, and 4 had to, when they wanted to go to Friendship Heights, they would have to get on a bus going northbound and travel all the way around the loop to get back to here because they couldn't travel southbound on Utah or westbound on that. So we heard a lot of complaints about that. And then I had a different solution, but they picked this solution. So,
Well, just to be clear, I haven't had a single comment from a constituent about the bus service. So I'm just curious as to what it's about. Also, I think um, it's one would think it'd be incumbent upon WMATA to reach out to the ANC as kind of a standard practice to say we're anticipating making these changes. There was, of course, a lot of community engagement, including engagement of ANCs around the Better Bus Network. But to make a change without any consultation officially is curious.
yeah, well, we've had, when we were back on the transportation committee, we had just impossible problems trying to get the WMATA to come out and talk to the ANC. And they just said, we're doing everything at the ward level, not the ANC level. And that was pretty much their standard line about anything.
Right. Well, we had, and I have had, very good interactions with Ann Chisholm and others on the WMATA team. And so I'm just I'll be reaching out to Ann to let her know that when changes like this are anticipated, they should engage directly. There's an entire stretch now of Nebraska from Oregon all the way to Utah where there is no bus service, that people will have to walk over to Knollwood or walk all the way down to Utah.
Yep.
It's like, and it's a curious thing.
And I don't know how they made that decision.
Right. Yeah.
All
It
I don't
may
think.
have, it may have been based on ridership. Anyway, I do have to move on.
Yeah, thank you, Cal.
Yeah.
And
So changes to rail service. So this is a big thing. This is going to start in 2 weeks from today, Monday, July 6th, and run for 2 months through September 6th. The red line will be closed for certain stations. There'll be shuttle buses replacing the red line, and there'll be bus lanes for the first time on Wisconsin Avenue. And so the red line closure is this. The Bethesda Medical Center and Grosvenor stations are going to be closed starting on Monday, July the 6th. So there's no service between Friendship Heights, no rail service between Friendship Heights and North Bethesda. That means that they're going to run it in two segments. There will be a segment from Glenmont to Friendship Heights where it'll terminate, and then another segment originating at North Bethesda, which used to be called White Flint, up to Shady Grove. The frequency on both these segments will be 6 minutes during the daytime and 10 minutes late in the evening. So it's not only a reduction in stations, but it's also a reduction in frequency, especially during rush hours. They will replace with shuttle buses, and if any of you've been on play other parts of the system of the metro system where they've done this, it's the same thing. They'll have express buses. This is actually good for us. We get an express bus from Friendship Heights directly to North Bethesda. And then there's local buses that will stop at each station. They said this trip takes 26 minutes, and I forget how long the shorter trip takes. So those are the express buses. And at Friendship Heights Station, you'll board these northbound the express buttons alongside of where Trader Joe's is, and slightly south of that. The express stations are closer to the main intersection of Western and Wisconsin, and the local ones are farther down the block. When you get off the buses, if you're coming the other direction, the express buses, you'll get off over here on Western opposite 44th Street. Then we are also going to get bus lanes, and I'm only showing one set of the bus lanes. The parts between Bethesda and Friendship Heights. So there will be bus lanes in the northbound direction from Western Avenue to Rosedale, which is just south of where Woodmont, converges with Wisconsin. And in the southbound direction, there are two pieces. There's Woodmont to Hamden, and it stops for a block or two, and then it picks up again at Elm Street and goes to Western. There's another segment at Grosvenor, which I'm not going to go at now. I should mention, and by the way, this is something that Commissioner Phinizy brought to my attention, that starting the next day after this goes into effect on July 7th, on Nebraska Avenue between Nevada and Connecticut, there will be single lane in each direction. They're cutting off half the street for DC plug work, so that'll be in effect for 1 month of the 2 months. Last thing that I'll talk about, just have one slide, which is the changes to the website. They made it so it works more like Metro Pulse. If you bookmarked any links to any pages, they're all broken. They don't work anymore. You'll have to go back through the site, navigate through it, figure out where things are, and rebookmark new pages. There are no maps available for individual bus lines like there were before, but there are timetables available for individual bus lines. And then the changes to Metro Pulse, these were both released in May. Better navigation, you can reach the same place multiple ways. They have integrated favorites better, so you can jump to places you visit frequently, and it still has quirks and bugs. So I'm waiting for 201 or whatever their next version is. And then thanks to the community members who asked for changes, the work of the bus transit group, working with WMATA. And if you have feedback, as always, the email address is phobus-input@groups.io. Commissioner Sherman, I just want to say I think we have to figure out how to work with the community members in the single members district, because WMATA, it relies on groups like ours to to
Elevate.
handle the load for them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cal. That was really helpful, and I hope you'll be able to share that with us so we can use our platforms to publicize the data that you've consolidated so nicely. Commissioner Grunewald.
You're on mute.
Yes. I just wanted to thank Cal. Cal, that was tremendous. And the work of your team is fantastic. I really appreciate it. My constituents really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, thank you. And I put your email in the chat out to everybody, and then we'll be in touch and hopefully can get that presentation out to the community through our own newsletters and other platforms. Thank you. Okay. Now we have Philip Robinson for and what did you call this, Carol? The TikTok door challenge or something like that? It sounds so benign, but I know it's not.
So welcome, Sergeant Philip Robinson. Thank you so much for waiting patiently and attending our meeting. Thank you. I invited you to come this evening to talk briefly about a problem I'm having in my SMD with one particular family, and would like to know if this is occurring elsewhere in Chevy Chase. What I'd like to talk about is a social media inspired phenomenon called TikTok Door Kick Challenge, which is, I guess, similar to Ding Dong Ditch, only more violent, in which young people are encouraged to kick in front doors of homeowners and videotape it. In my SMD, the home of a family with two young teen daughters has been targeted 3 times by teens or young adults who have attacked their house and terrorized their family. The first instance occurred during nighttime hours on May 8, which was Mother's Day weekend, when the door was pounded on loudly in the early morning hours, woke the family up. When the family answered the door, there was no one there, so that was a classic ding-dong ditch. But the second episode occurred a couple of weeks later when their wooden front door was kicked in. It was kicked or hit so forcefully that it cracked the door. There's a huge crack in this door, and this occurred at 3:30 in the morning. One of their teenage daughters screamed. The family thought they were experiencing a home invasion and were terrified. The most recent episode occurred at about 12:50 a.m. on June 20, when someone completely obliterated their 7 by 3-foot glass storm door, sending tiny shards of broken glass 7 feet out from the house onto their front steps, into their garden and their grass. In each case, the perpetrators arrived and escaped via motorcycles or e-bikes, and they were videotaped by neighbors' security cameras from across the street. In the most recent episode, the young men who were involved were videotaped saying, quote, "That's the house." So this particular house is clearly being targeted. And in March, this family's brand new Lexus, which had been parked on the street in front of their house, was stolen and never recovered. And so the wife of this family just confessed to me today that they are meeting with a realtor soon to look at houses in a safer neighborhood, which makes me feel very sad. So Sergeant, aside from putting security cameras and lighting around the outside of their house, what advice do you have to offer this family? And I'd also like to know how prevalent this phenomenon is in Chevy Chase, if it exists at all, or is this a one-off?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Sergeant Robinson with the Metropolitan Police Department. First, I want to say this was last minute. I was just informed in reference to this last night.
It was last minute because I just learned about this yesterday, all of this yesterday. So I apologize.
So in reference to the ding dong door ditches, is it just an isolated event? I'm one of the sergeants for the Georgetown community. I've been over there for 9 years as a sergeant. This is a one-off family. I don't know if, yes, I do not know if the teenagers or juveniles may know the two female teens, or could have been a road rage incident at which time they may have followed the homeowners to that residence and decided to target that residence multiple times. But it is known throughout the nation to knock on the door, run off, kick in the door, run off. It's just a spinoff from the old 1990s press the doorbell and run. Instead of pressing the doorbell, you kick the door. The juveniles these days are coming up with violent and destructive fun, as I would like to say. But as far as the crime in 201, the only thing that we do see that's up is stolen autos is up 350% compared to last year. For the first 6 months of this year, there was one stolen auto and one stolen motorcycle. They're still outstanding. In reference to preventing that, I will say just do it the old fashioned. I'm old school, so just the steering wheel lock. Just have a steering wheel lock or the brake lock, and that way, that's another way to prevent a stolen vehicle. In reference to our thefts, there were 5 thefts in the last month, in which majority of those thefts were CVS's. There was 4 theft from autos. We always try to tell the complainants or the victims, please stop leaving the items out in the open. One of those theft from autos was a work van, and another vehicle was unlocked, and that's how they was able to get in. But Lieutenant O, or Lieutenant Oliveira, he is going to have a curfew van at that area of location to help deter this activity.
So which location are you referring to?
This is
And this is for the car thefts or what?
No, this is in reference to the 5300 block to 28.
Okay.
5300 block of 28th and 29th Street.
Okay. Yes, that was I requested that patrol, but there's going to be a patrol, not a curfew.
No, a curfew van. So the curfew van is just to patrol that area. So during the night hours.
Oh, I see. I got you. So to monitor for kids who are out beyond their curfew. That's great.
Right, yeah.
That's really great. Thank you. I'm very relieved to learn that this is not happening to other families, but this is getting very serious for this family.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, Chair Phinizy, to ask Commissioner Grunewald, did the family put in police reports in regards to this? I don't recall if you said that or not.
I
Yes.
think
Yes,
they have
Phinizy,
put in.
They have.
It was just that one police report for destruction of property.
Okay, thank you.
There's also one thing Lieutenant Oliveira wants me to touch base in reference to a helicopter that was flying over. There was a police presence on Military Road a few weeks ago. It was in reference to a vehicle pursuit from an outside jurisdiction that was wanted for a domestic violence offense in Virginia.
All right, thank you. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Sergeant Robinson.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Nagy? Commissioner Nagy, I believe you're still muted.
Yep, sorry. Thank you, Sergeant Robinson, for that update on what happened at Military Road. I had asked Lieutenant Oliveira if he could look into that, so please thank him again for me. I'd appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, and thank you for coming. Wow, I didn't realize our stolen autos were up that much. We've got to.
Thank you, Sergeant, for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Are you done?
Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, next I saw Mrs. Ann Walters. Are you still there, Mrs. Walters? For the DC
Yes.
plug update? Awesome. All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Hi, good evening, commissioners and residents of 34G. My name is Ann Walters, and I'm the outreach coordinator for the DC Plug project. And I have a few announcements to make. First, we were supposed to have started restoration. The contractor was supposed to have started restoration today, and the 3800 block of Legation from Connecticut to 39th Street. And 5400 block of 39th Street to, from Legation to Livingston, and 3900 block of Livingston from 39 to 41st Street. However, because of the forecasts, they've decided to push it back to next Monday. So they will be out next Monday, weather permitting, to restore those three blocks that I've mentioned for Legation, 39th Street, and Livingston. Also, I've shared, and I heard Mr. Cal, thank you, Mr. Cal, for mentioning that on Nebraska Avenue, the westbound lanes, the two westbound lanes will be closed for 1 month, starting from July 7th to August 7th. We did notify residents along Nevada Avenue, adjoining streets, Nebraska, Nevada, Jennifer Street, Ingomar. We did notify residents ahead of time to let them know that these two lanes will be closed 24 hours for a month. And we will be coming out tomorrow to talk to residents, because we did receive some inquiries from some residents. So the construction manager and myself, we will be out to talk to residents to alleviate some of their concerns or fears about the two-lane closures that is scheduled to take place starting July 7th to August 7th. And currently we are working on Nebraska Avenue from we are between Ingomar and Jennifer Street, working our way up to Connecticut Avenue. And we're also on Livingston Street, the intersection of Livingston and 39th Street, backfilling and conflicts. That is it so far. Residents, I would like to put my information in the chat. So if residents have any questions and or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me via phone and or email. I'll be more than happy to respond to your questions and or concerns. Thank you again, commissioners.
Thank you. And it looks like we have a question for you, Ms. Walters, from Commissioner Gosselin.
Yeah, Ms. Walters, when you use the word restoration, just in terms of the projects on Legation and 3800 block of Legation and 3900 block of Livingston, right now you've trenched in the west, on the north side of the road, and have plates in. Besides removing the plates and putting patch fill in, do you intend to restore? Do you repave?
Yes, they will mill and pave. Yes, and they'll also the sidewalks. If they've disturbed the sidewalks as well, they will also make sure the sidewalks are restored back to its normal.
So neighbors and others will not be waiting around for DPW to, will not be living with soft patches that wear off as we wait around for DPW to come and repave the road. Is that correct?
No, it's the contractor who will be making the restoration.
Good, thank you.
So not DPW or DDOT. It's the contractor who will make the restoration in this case.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Simmons has a question.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Hi, Ms. Walters. I just wanted to say thank you for working with my residents a couple meetings ago in regards to some concerns that they had. And thank you for restoring
Broad Branch.
Broad Branch, Nevada, and Nevada. I just wanted to know if I just wanted to see if you could just remind the community and just make sure my recollect is correct, that you all are going to restore, you're creating the infrastructure, and then some point in time later, you guys come back and actually install the power that's going under. So I just want to make sure the community is aware that there are a couple phases to this. So you're prepping the sites for all the stuff that we need for underground power, and then you're going to come back and then actually install the underground power. Is that correct?
Yes, so this is the civil construction phase to prepare for the for PEPCO to send out a crew over in the next year or so, because the civil construction piece has to be done before they can come out and do the wiring, the cabling, before they can install the cables. So what you're seeing right now is preparation for cabling. So in a year, right after this project is completed and certified and turned over to PEPCO, they then will have a different crew to come out and install the cables. They would be less impactful than the civil portion of the DC plug project, but the cabling won't take place until a year time, because this project's supposed to last a year. So right after, they will then come out, and they will not just show up, they'll have outreach to let residents know that they will be coming to install the cables. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Nagy.
Yeah, thanks. There's a question from a constituent from Brian Heilman asking, is this going to be all along Nevada Avenue?
Nebraska, the road closure? The road
No,
closure.
no, the whole project. I think the part of the project that you were just discussing with Commissioner Simmons.
Certain section of Nevada, not the entire strip of Nevada. I do not have the block numbers, but not the entire Nevada from certain blocks.
Okay, so
there would.
Sorry, so the question becomes, does that mean that there's going to be underground power on some parts of Nevada, but not others?
Not others, yes.
Okay.
Because some areas might already have underground.
Is the goal, sorry, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Is the goal not to have undergrounded wire everywhere?
Well, that's for PEPCO to answer. What I can do is for this feeder, I can put the map in the chat, so residents can click on the map and put in their address, and they'll see where exactly in Nevada we will be DC plug. But in terms of that question, Commissioner Nagy, that would be for PEPCO to answer. And who knows, they may just pick it up and extend it further. But for this feeder, wherever 467 lies on Nevada, I think that's where they will put
Thank
the
you.
underground.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
And the constituent said thank you too.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walters.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cal?
Yeah, I just have a question. So there's tar left. We have a transformer enclosure right in front of our house, and it's got tar around it and things like that. There's
Cold patch. We're coming back, Cal. We have not installed, good evening, how are you? We're coming back. We have not installed conduits yet on your block. As soon as they've reached that area, I'll definitely, we have you on our radar, Mr. Cal. So, but it's a temporary patch, and that won't be restored until the conduit, they've all fully install conduits on Nevada Avenue. But once they've done so, they will come back, remove the temporary patch, and also repair the sidewalk.
so
But
you
we're
don't
not.
have, do we have any idea when that might happen roughly?
No, I do not, because it's not on the 3-week look ahead. But what I can do, Mr. Cal, I can reach out to the contractor tomorrow to see if I can get an idea when they think they will be on your block to start installing the conduits.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Walters. And yes, if you want to put your information in the chat, I opened it temporarily so you can put it in there and people can have it. And you can also send it to us as you regularly do.
Thank you very much for accommodating us.
Is there time for another question?
We are running about 35 minutes behind.
I'll
I'm
reach
gonna-
out to her. It's
Yeah,
fine.
Go ahead and send me an email,
I'll reach
Mr.
out to
Cal.
her directly. Yes.
That would be
Yes.
lovely. I'm sorry, but I don't want, we've got some people here for presentations and grant applications, and I'd like to make sure they get heard. So thank you, Ms. Walters. Commissioner Gosselin, you had an initial review of a Chevy Chase Main Street grant.
Yes, and let me do a brief introduction and then turn it over to Anna Claire Walker of Chevy Chase Main Street. This is a grant to help the Chevy Chase portion of a district-wide event, September 11th and 12th, called Art All Night. And I'm going to steal a little of Anna Claire's thunder, but I want to give full credit to her. We have been working together trying to get the owners of the American City Diner site to let us put it back into some public use. And she has been unbelievably persistent about this. And they have agreed to let us use the site, at least for this event. And I think that's a good sign that we may be able to use it for other purposes until they manage to market it. The grant is for $2,000. As written, as you have it before you, it is for marketing material. But my understanding is that from Anna Claire that marketing material might be used not beyond our ANC. And if there's concern among the commissioners that we want to have ANC specific use, the way in which the event here in Chevy Chase would distinguish itself is with the live entertainment and so on and so forth. And I'm sure between this meeting and the meeting when we vote for it, if this is a concern of some commissioners, she can rework the budget in a way that has it fund our contribution or our grant, should we approve it, funding purely Chevy Chase centric activities. You'll see in the budget that the city is being very generous here. This is important to us because this is the first time that we've gotten money for the city to have a Chevy Chase portion of this all-night event, and I think we would like to. I think we should consider doing it upright so that we get grants in future years. So with that, Anna Claire, could you come online and maybe you have some initial remarks, but then we can field commissioner questions.
Yes, I also do have a few slides. It might answer some of the questions preemptively. If I'm allowed to share my screen, I can go really quickly to respect everybody's time if that's appropriate.
You should be able to share your screen. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, so as Commissioner Gosselin said, this is the first time that Chevy Chase has been selected to run Art All Night. If you're not familiar with District Bridges, we are an umbrella organization that runs 6 Main Street programs. I've been running the Chevy Chase Main Street program since 2022 under the umbrella of District Bridges. I have also provided support to our other Art All Night events over the last 4 years. So I've seen this event be really successful in our U Street, our Mount Pleasant, Logan Circle, Cleveland Park, nearby events. So I was very excited this year when they asked if we would like to submit an application for this funding. So it'll be the first night. I did want to highlight that this is through the Department of Small and Local Business Development and sponsored by the mayor's office. And Chevy Chase Main Street is unfortunately not in charge of when it takes place. It takes place one weekend, depending on MPD schedules, citywide kind of resources and availability of things. So we're not in control of when the event takes place, but we did ask if we could be on the second night, September 12th, versus the Friday night. It takes place on both of those evenings. And so our event has been selected to be 4 to 10 p.m. September 12th. It is a citywide event, so it also gets funding from DSLBD and also gets the advantage of the app that DSLBD creates, and all of our programming will be featured on an interactive map. And it also gets marketed throughout the whole city through the mayor's office and through DSLBD through the website. And we will be listed I think there's 24 neighborhoods, Main Street programs and bids participating this year. We are going to be focusing a lot on live entertainment. So I do have kind of a draft slogan of live from Chevy Chase. And we have some amazing acts already kind of slated in our early planning, but it will include puppets, improv, comedy, film, a neighborhood costume contest, live music, art, local artists, local vendors, wheel pottery, hair tinsel, which I just learned what that was a couple of days ago, and musical theater. So I'm very excited to bring kind of a live entertainment as well as studio art to the corridor. The main focus of the event is to drive foot traffic to our small businesses and support local artists and local artisans. So last year, the citywide event had over 250,000 attendees. And the app downloads, it was their first year to have a specific Art All Night app that was interactive where people could see the map of the city and what was going on, and it had 15,000 downloads. DSLBD has agreed to fund us $10,000, which is quite a modest Art All Night budget as someone who's managed a lot of Art All Night events in the past. Typical funding is anywhere between 10 and I would say 30, 40,000. So this is on the modest side, but is our first year. So depending on how this goes and how successful and impactful the event is, there is the possibility of future grants in future years at a higher rate potentially. I've requested a $2,000 grant from the ANC, and then I am also soliciting sponsorships and donations and hoping to raise $5,000. The proposed use that I said was marketing. We have robust partnerships with things like CityCast, Popville, DC News Now, and our Meta, our Instagram and Facebook platforms. That is to drive foot traffic to Chevy Chase. Since there are other events taking place, we really want to highlight the uniqueness of our event and get people up here who might never have visited this part of the city before. However, our equipment and main stage costs, as Commissioner Gosselin was talking about, is also a large portion of our budget, around the same amount. And I am happy to change that if the commission would prefer the funding go to something that is specifically not leaving kind of this area and not being more citywide marketing. In the past, we have gotten ANC grants for marketing as well as equipment. So those are the two things I knew would be appropriate and allowed by the Office of ANC. So that's why I went with it, but I'm happy to change it. Here are some of the potential event venues. I have gotten a verbal confirmation that we can use the empty lot at the old diner spot, and I'm looking to get something signed for our insurance purposes. I'm also talking to the landlords of the vacant Happy Go space to ignite that and activate that as well. And then these are just some pictures from previous years in our other neighborhoods, but we've had really, really big success in our other Main Street neighborhoods, and I'm very excited to bring this event to the neighborhood.
Thank you so much. This sounds very exciting. Commissioner Simmons has her hand raised.
Hi, Anna Claire, Commissioner Simmons. I have the other side of Connecticut, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing the application for Connecticut Ave, Art All Night, and other locations. We've been, and they are great. Yep. The question I have is, I don't know how the process works for the exhibitors, but I have several constituents who are artists and they participate in the Chevy Chase art. And I just wanted to know, will you send us something so that if any local artists would like to participate, I can share that with them? And I'm just excited. It's gonna bring more people to our Connecticut Avenue corridor. So thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working with Chart specifically to make sure that we're highlighting local artists first and then filling in with citywide other applications. So we have a sign up form for visual artists as well as comedians or musicians or live entertainment. So I can send all of that information after the meeting as well for anyone that would like to participate. We also have a planning committee. We've had one meeting so far. About 10 people joined us to brainstorm ideas for sponsorships, for different volunteer jobs that could happen. So I also have that form as well, and it's not too late to join in. The bulk of our planning is not 100% confirmed yet. So happy to have people from the community join if they would like. So I can send all that information.
Let me raise two issues for Anna Claire to address, and I will try to address too. But the first is that, as both of us have said, but Anna Claire has emphasized, the choice of date was the city's, not Main Street or ours. It has two difficulties with it that we just ought to be aware of, which is that it's only 1 week before Chevy Chase Day. The 11th is also the first night of Rosh Hashanah. I think that's right, the 11th to the 12th. And I mean, I hope the move to the 12th it helps that a little, but it's not perfect timing. I think the way I would suggest commissioners think about this, and particularly the closeness to Chevy Chase Day, is that people will be coming back from the summer. It'll be just after Labor Day, and the community will be getting going again. And both are great events. If a lot of the focus turns out to be on the American City Diner site, then it will be a sort of west side of Connecticut heavy event one week, and Chevy Chase Day on the east side the next week on Commissioner Simmons' SMD. So it ain't perfect, but it isn't, it's somewhat out of our hands. And I think, we get a great opportunity here to bring people onto our main street and into our businesses. And that ultimately is an important thing to do for our small main street. Are there questions from the commissioners? I see Commissioner Simmons' hand again. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to try and do a positive spin on it, that having the events back to back will be, great for our small businesses and getting people on our avenue and spending money. So I just wanted to highlight that, it's more of a positive versus a negative for them being back to back.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say I did reach out to the community association to let them know about the event, and we did consider perhaps trying to merge the events, but we ultimately decided that it was best to keep them separate and kind of market them to different audiences, so there was something on offer for the community 2 different weekends. But we were in communication about that, so that it wasn't a shock that I was having this event right before. So I just wanted to clarify that we're in communication and we're all good on that front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you. There's a comment about, is Main Street all night really Main Street until 10 o'clock? Is
Art
that
all
the
night.
case?
Across the city, it goes to varying times. You can host your event whenever you want. For instance, our U Street one normally has an after party that goes till 3 a.m. Our Mount Pleasant one normally goes till midnight. I chose 4 to 10 so that we could have some after hours experiences and have kind of the unique experiences of walking up and down the corridor, seeing music and theater after hours and after sundown. That also helps with Rosh Hashanah, as more programming we can get after sundown is helpful to be inclusive in that way. But I thought that 10 p.m. might be stretching it for this neighborhood about how late they might want to stay out on the corridor. But we will have potentially an after party that goes a little bit later if the businesses want to stay open. But 10 p.m. is quite a bit later for most of our small businesses. So it will still feel uniquely kind of after dark, even though it won't go all night.
Thank you.
Henleytown is doing something at the same time?
Yes, Tenleytown and Van Ness are also the same day. So we've actually gotten together and collaborated around how we can market people setting up their itinerary so that they're hitting up all 3 events. One of the ways that we're thinking about doing this is Van Ness Main Street and I are collaborating and splitting some expenses of some light up pedicabs, the kind that you might see in New York, to kind of commute people back and forth in the event in a really fun kind of light up pedicab. So we're thinking creatively, how can we encourage people to visit multiple events throughout the night? But the Chevy Chase Main Street one will be going the latest. Tenleytown and Van Ness both end earlier.
Oh, okay. When did they end?
I believe they end at 9.
Oh, wow. Okay. Who would have thought that Chevy Chase would be the late guys? Well, thank you very much. It sounds like a lot of fun
All right, thank you.
and a lot of work. So thank you.
And we have gotten the okay from OANC on this application.
Commissioner Simmons, is this a new
Yes,
comment?
it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
One meeting where I get to talk. So Anna Claire, I don't know if you know offhand, but I also think that some of our businesses on Connecticut Avenue with outdoor seating have that seating until 10 p.m. So I just want to let the community know that this isn't something where our avenue is like shut down at 7 p.m. We still have businesses that have outdoor seating around 10, and we have the new wheelhouse on the avenue. So I just wanted to also make the community aware of that. So thank you.
Okay. So I think that, well, should comments, do I ask for comments from the community or?
I mean, I
One more
just,
question.
Oh, that you have
Okay.
Commissioner Nagy has another question.
I do have a quick question. Commissioner Phinizy, you said that this was approved by OANC. It's been run by OANC, and OANC has no issues with using the money for marketing.
that's the email from
Claire,
May
you're
29th.
shaking you're nodding your head, but I was out. Commissioner Phinizy, did you submit? Who submitted it to OANC?
Anna Claire.
The application procedure requires the applicant to send it to OANC.
Okay, I thought in the past we had done that, but maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
And they didn't put any restrictions on the use of the money?
I will double check. They sent a email May 29th, and I'll send that out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Simmons can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there was no restrictions. The OANC approved the grants as is, so it's just up to us to vote on how if we're gonna fund it.
Okay.
May
All right.
29th is the email.
Well, we can do something different from what the OANC said if we decide to.
We can, but there's no restriction from the OANC.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
I would note that it is 8:13 and we were supposed to, we're just about now, what, 35 minutes still behind, so.
Right.
Just
I mean, Commissioner Nagy, if you continue to have this concern, we can ask Anna Claire to rearrange the budget because for example, the entertainment here and the equipment for the entertainment is absolutely Chevy Chase specific. I mean, I don't know about, I mean, there's certainly the mailers that Chevy Chase Main Street are talking about sending out will go out to ANC members of this community, but they could well go wider than that. And if this is a great concern of yours, we can have the budget rearranged so that every dollar is spent on just Chevy Chase.
Commissioner Nagy, did you want to?
You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. I'll take a look at what ANC sent and at the grant application and see if I do have concerns. I'm not saying that I do. I'm just asking questions at this point. So, but thank you for offering that up, Peter. I appreciate that.
All right, well, great. So I'll send that email out and then we'll take back what we heard tonight. And this looks like it's an exciting development, and we hope we can find a way that works for everybody to join forces and support. Okay, thank you, Anna Claire. Pedicabs. Wow, that's super cool. Okay, I got distracted. All right, so now we're going to go to the next item, which is a discussion and possible vote of a resolution about Lafayette-Pointer Park Erosion Project. And this is something that is in my SMD, so I'm going to be the one talking about it, but I also have some constituents here who live, not only live here, but have kind of more green building, environmental practice background. But I assume that all the commissioners have been able to read the resolution. Basically, we've got concerns that about where the project is taking place and the focus of the project. So let me share screen for a second. And let me just, I'll actually stop for 1 second. I can get that one up. And let me see if I can share that with you guys. All right, let me see if this is the one that I want. Okay, can you see the resolution up here?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so basically they are looking to reduce erosion that was significantly exacerbated when the school used the upper field of the park during the school construction back a decade ago. The feeling of the community was that it would be really disruptive to ship all the students to another school across the city. If we could keep them on site and keep kids walking and biking to school, that would be easier. But that meant that the park was given over to school use for the playground and for the gym. And we had 750 kids a day playing on that playground, and they really packed it down. And the Department of General Services and DCPS promised to the National Capital Planning Commission, as when they presented the project, that they would restore the park to its pre-construction condition to mitigate the park's increased use from school construction, school activities during the modernization, but they never did. And so when the soil got compacted and then didn't get fixed, then over the years, you know, erosion kind of begets erosion. As things get more compacted and things don't grow, then that gets harder and harder. So we've seen a lot of degradation. And I'm just going to go flip down here to some slides. So the top of the hill is what they call Zone C. And you can see in this area between the green stripe, kind of where this letter B is, where my cursor is moving, there are no blue dots. And let me blow this up a little bit. There are no blue dots here. And that means that they are not currently looking to aerate and do air spading and really remediate the soil. They also don't have current plans to do like dry wells. And this is now a very open area because we've lost one tree, big tree. So there's a lot of space that's not under the root zones of trees where we could do dry wells. They don't have a lot of grading. And so what's really happening is then the water is going to be sheeting down to the northwest corner. And that's where we have some more invasive measures. In the pink areas were these two triangles. Those are areas just below the perimeter walkway that they would be aerating and spading, but then they would be closing off for about a year. You can see it a little bit bigger here. They would be aerating, air spading below that as well, but then they'll be taking out a tree below that. And then we get down to Zone A, which is the area closer to Broad Branch and Casada, and taking out a number of trees, having a trench, and then also pretty much that entire part of the park would be closed off for a year. And so thinking that that is a lot to ask because it would divert a lot of foot traffic to our newly fixed athletic field, which needs some TLC to get established. My resolution asks that the focus really be on remediating and the Zone C, capturing the water, and that they hold off on the invasive measures on Zone B and Zone A towards Casada and Broad Branch until we've had a time to see that it work. And then we also want to ask, they don't have any plans to restore the crumbling perimeter paths. And as you can see in some of the photographs here, like here's the crumbling, it just is completely degrading the path. It's not safe. And the ground is quite eroded. And we'd really like to see that top of the field fixed. In some cases, just, it's down to, it's rocky. Here's by the new bear. There's the bear and the field is bare. So that's basically what my resolution would ask for. And I have both Sandy Wiggins and Tracy Bowen here who may want to chime in or share some information. So Tracy and Sandy, I see Tracy on video. Is Sandy there as well?
Yes, Sandy's here as well.
Okay.
So I'll just start first. I'll just say, first off, when I come to these ANC meetings, I'm like overwhelmed with gratitude that all of these amazing ANC commissioners invest. I can't even imagine how much time and, personal life sacrifice to be in these meetings and to be prepped and to do all this work. You guys are all angels. And thank you for what you guys do. It's really great. And I'm saying that because in January, my arm was twisted to become the president of Friends of Lafayette Park, and it has become like a full-time job. Anyway, I'm empathetic to what you guys are doing. So I think I really appreciate that Commissioner Phinizy has put so much time and thought into this project. We at FLP, Friends of Lafayette-Pointer Park, have drafted a very similar request that we've submitted to the DPR and DGS and the contractors. We are eternally grateful to DPR and to DGS for having very much put in energy to have community engagement on this project. We've had 2 community meetings. We've had a site visit. They have been engaging with us. And the problem that we had up until now is that they were just really just focusing on where the source of the problem wasn't, which is the lower field. And they were investing a large part of what we assume is a large part of their budget, a $1.7 budget, to go into civil engineering and doing some concrete trenching in that lower field, disrupting our gardens down there, taking down 4 trees, cutting down, they were going to have to break into the concrete, connect this into the storm drain system.
And
what we want
Tracy, just one clarification. When you say lower field, you don't mean the Lafayette school field. You mean the
I'm sorry,
lower area near Broad Branch and Casella.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I was pleasantly surprised last week. DPR had a virtual capital meeting, which I attended and listened to, and it does sound like they have made some big changes, but we haven't gotten verbal communication from the team at all yet. We're waiting for that. We're very hopeful, and we'll be very grateful if they do shift the budget. The request that is being put forth by both Friends of Lafayette-Pointer Park and I think in concert with this resolution is a much cheaper way to do it. It's better use of our taxpayer dollars to not do all the civil engineering and putting into the system, dumping it into Rock Creek. We want to try to contain the water, and there should be money left over after they do the first phase, this like first part of it where they're doing just the upper field, and the little lower area where they would be doing green infrastructure. So I think that we've had conversations with Louis George's staff about it. There's a lot of agreement that this makes sense. So we're really hoping that we are going to hear soon that this is the direction they are going, but we have no real confirmation yet.
Thank you, Tracy. Sandy, I'm thinking maybe some commissioners might have some questions for you, but did you want to add anything that I didn't touch on?
I don't think it's necessary. I do think, I also listened to that capital presentation by DPR last week and was surprised that the language had changed dramatically based on some of our advocacy around this. But I think the ANC resolution would be very helpful in solidifying this.
Thank you. I see Commissioner Gosselin's hand.
I think Commissioner Simmons had her hand up first. Am I wrong about that?
I saw it go down.
Yeah, I
which is-
took it down.
Okay.
My question was about project finance and risk, and Ms. Bowen went discussed that.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me just ask. I mean, I live some distance from the park, and my kids went to Merch, not Lafayette, so I'm much more familiar with that end of town than yours. But every time I've used that park, the most beaten ground is at that top. What is the city's argument that you would not focus the lion's share of attention up there? Is there something about roots, or is it?
I
Can
think
I respond to that?
actually, Sandy, let me just really quickly say that because I was in all these community meetings, and the way they first presented the project, I think that they were somehow the erosion. There was confusion. The hilltop is the source of our problem. But what is really a huge problem is that lower field. The water is flushing down, and we've lost a lot of soil. I think that they were trying to resolve the problem in the lower field.
The
And they
lower,
felt like-
I wouldn't call it a field, the lower quadrant maybe by
the
north.
lower quadrant.
Yeah.
Okay, the northwest quadrant of the park. And I think that we've just been trying to educate them. They didn't do any stormwater studies. And we've tried to educate them about the problem is really at the top of the hill. And if the problem didn't start until all of the construction in 2017. And so we really believe if they could do a really good job of the soil remediation stuff on the upper hill, then they will help drastically change what's going on in the lower part of the park that's flushing down towards Broad Branch. And they were sharing with us that they didn't have a budget to do the soil remediation, and they didn't have a budget to do the sod. We want sod up there, not just some kind of another round of grass seed. It needs much more attention. And so if they were to take the budget out of the lower field, which we don't want concrete trenches on that quadrant that Laura's talking about, we want the money to get invested in the right place. Did you have anything else to add to that, Sandy?
Well, I mean, I think there's more nuance to it. I don't know if it's really constructive to get too deeply into it, but this is the final stage, really of the project that began back in 2016 when they started the, $80 million renovation of the school and then the upper playground. And there was an erosion and stormwater management project that was done a couple of years ago that they've always called phase one, that dealt with the eastern and southern part of the park, where they used a design build contractor that, really used a kind of 1950s mentality and put in these giant concrete structures and ignored the community's desires completely. And they've basically taken the same tact here. They've got the same design build contractor back there who clearly is very comfortable with concrete trenches and pipes and things like that as a way of dealing with stormwater rather than the current best management practices, and can probably spend $1.7 million doing that, but that's not what's needed. And it's not going to address the problem because the problem really is that bald top of the hill that's never been remediated.
Sandy, I just want to make a correction for the record. It is not the same contractor, but the contractor that they have hired is a design build contractor, which is for some reason why the city keeps doing this. It's really an expensive way to go. And they contract out everybody that works for them. And the person they have contracted to do the civil engineering is the same person that did the project on the other phase.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And this is a phase 2 project, even though we're now seeing that it's not on their website as phase 2, but it is a phase 2 project that is being conducted to address this issue.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Sandy and Tracy, for being with us and for all the great work that you do. And Friends of Lafayette Park, gosh, it's an amazing job. It's a great, great park. Um, Question, take me back to phase one because stormwater management, the runoff coming down the hill there is the reason they put in those bioretention facilities and did all that infrastructure development, presumably. So we're talking about water runoff towards the west, if you will, towards on the other side. And at the time that phase one took place, if I'm not uh, sort of recalling this incorrectly, they did remediation of the soil and they seeded the upper part, and that was closed off for X period of time, right? And apparently that hasn't taken or that's been eroded further. Talk to me about that.
Can I speak to that, Bruce?
Sure.
Because they didn't do it comprehensively. They didn't put in significant amount of topsoil. They didn't do any tilling. They didn't do significant aeration. They sprinkled a little bit of soil. They sprinkled grass seed. They fenced it off, and it was off for maybe 3 months offline. So some grass did take, and we saw a significant reduction in flow towards the northwest corner, even just with the addition of grass. But they never address the root. I don't say root of the problem because that's kind of a bad pun, but they basically just layered a light sprinkling of soil and a light sprinkling of grass on top of very compacted soil. They didn't address it. They didn't install any dry wells. And it was minimal. It wasn't the comprehensive approach that was needed.
So just a quick follow-up. So Sandy, you mentioned that in the call last week, DPR and DGS seemed to be amenable to making some changes. So where do those changes stand in relation to what's in the draft resolution? How far have they moved already towards what's in the resolution?
And just 1 second, just remember that you got to be a little bit awkward with this and like ask through the chair.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Sure.
he's going to ask me to ask you to talk. So please talk, Sandy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, to answer your question, Bruce, we don't really know, but what has changed is their language. I mean, we have been advocating for them not only to address the real problem, which is the top of the hill, but to do it using current best management practices, which are, for sustainable stormwater management. And the basic rule is you capture and treat rainwater where it falls. Whereas what they were trying to do was shunt all the water down the hill into a concrete trench and then dump it into the storm sewer, which empties into Rock Creek. In the call last week, they were actually using that language. They're going to focus on the top of the hill. They're going to capture rainwater where it falls. We haven't seen any design response that signifies that, but they were actually talking like that on the call.
And they said no concrete trenching.
Okay. Yeah, please remember to be recognized. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I know it's all good, but
so just if I could just to close this off, the resolution then is reinforcing the feedback that Friends of Lafayette Park has given DPR and DGS and trying to move this towards a definitive outcome where they are truly going to listen, they're truly going to implement the best practices. If I got that about right, Chair Phinizy?
yes, and that they focus on the upper part, that they I can just recapture the resolved, right? That they focus, that the budget and focus be reallocated to address first the upper field and then that little intermediate area right below with sustainably designed stormwater best management practices and durable restoration of the upper field and deteriorated asphalt pathways. Request that the design be focused on capturing, treating, and infiltrating stormwater at its source on the upper field and intermediate area rather than allowing the water to sheet flow to the northwest corner and into the DC sewer system. And then we also speak to this resolution would also speak to only closing off the upper part at first, so that that lower park remain open, because as we know, we have many people who exercise dogs, and I don't want to get into a controversy, but if we had that whole park area closed off, we might see a significant impact on our athletic field. And I have been working really hard to make sure the athletic field is preserved as such for the students and community. Tracy?
Commissioner Phinizy, I want to just share that the timeline they're on, why this letter is very important, is that they are working on construction documents right now that they want to present to us within another week or two. And those typically, what will happen is they'll show us the construction documents, and then it goes right to entitlements. They go right into getting permits without a lot of room for us to make changes. So that is why Friends of Lafayette Park started this request, because we were very concerned that we were going to get construction documents without our feedback in it, based on 2 rounds of not getting changes. So we're very happy to see, we're expecting, hopefully it's going to be very different, but I think we have to stick to this because we don't want to be stuck with a construction document process where they've already spent all the money on it and they can't make changes, and we're in entitlements. They want to begin the project in September.
Mm.
Yeah, and I would add that in the phase 1 project, you may remember for several of the commissioners who were on the commission at the time met in the Lafayette cafeteria when they announced at that time that they had decided to put artificial turf on the school. And at that same time, they showed sort of like a couple of slides about phase 1, how they were going to do that bioretention. And that was all the community input that we got. We were never allowed to have any meetings. So, and the result of that project was very intrusive. And as Sandy said, you know, it's 1950s era standards. It's not using current best practices that and have a more natural approach consistent with our park. So, are there any other further questions, or can I motion that we take a vote on this resolution? Okay, so I would like to make a motion then, seeing no questions, that we adopt the resolution regarding supporting a pause in the Lafayette-Pointer Park project to focus on the best stormwater management practices. Do I have a second? Commissioner Nagy, is that a second? Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Gosselin, I do not see your hand. Are you there, Commissioner Gosselin? Okay.
I think you might have had to step away momentarily.
Okay, I'm going to mark everyone else whom I see. I see Grunewald, Sherman, Phinizy, Simmons, Nagy in the affirmative. Okay, if you can please put your hands down. Let me see if I can get Commissioner Gosselin just to make sure if he wants to be included in this vote. 1 second.
And Chair Phinizy, while you're trying to reach him,
Yeah.
before we let Sandy and Tracy go, they can stay as long as they'd like, of course, in the meeting. But I have a question about the athletic field. If we could just, after we take the vote and finish this, segue briefly to that. I know it's not scheduled, but while they're here.
Okay. Oh, it looks like Peter got bumped and he's coming back into the meeting.
Yeah, I just admitted him.
Okay, perfect. All right. Peter, we just we're taking a vote on passing the resolution to support the field. Would you like to vote on that?
Absolutely. I got cut off.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Thank you for coming back in. All right, so that's 6 ayes. All those opposed? That's a formality, but thank you. All right, so the resolution passes 6-0. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tracy and Sandy, for your advocacy and for your information. Commissioner Sherman, I'm going to have to make it super quick because we're running a little bit we're 20 minutes behind now, but it's better, but not great. Okay.
This is 20 seconds. I would
Okay.
support and welcome conversation around petitioning the city to fix the irrigation system for the athletic field or install one that works. Because the longevity issue around grass initially obviously is irrigation and all the other best practices that we have for years now proposed to DPR and DGS to sustain the athletic field in the condition that everybody would want it to be in. Because we know what's going to happen if that doesn't result. You're going to have calls for artificial turf again because people will say, well, we told you so. And so I think it's important to address this, and I would be very supportive of that, just to let you know.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I can speak to what I've been doing in my commissioner updates as far as what I've been personally working on to make sure that field is getting the water. I'll do that in my commissioner time. Okay. Awesome. All right. So thank you for your support of that resolution. Peter Gosselin, I believe the U.S. Post Office is in your SMD. So would you like to talk about the service at the post office?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Jesse Herman from Delegate Norton's office, you were with us. And Jesse, thank you for your patience with us. We almost time. We have again had a rash of problems with service at the 5600 block U.S. Post Office. And you've seen it on the listserv and other social media. It simply shuts periodically, often with no notice, or not even a sign on the door explaining what has happened. Residents, certainly the residents in my single member district, are very sympathetic to the postal workers at the office, and it's simply understaffed. We're in an unusual situation, and the reason I'd like Jesse here is we to date, when these problems have come up, we've been asked to encourage our constituents to document specific incidences of problems. And I think we're going to have to keep doing that, although frankly, it's pretty obviously a system problem and not an incident problem. And disaggregating it as an incident problem is a frustrating thing to have to deal with. But I think the reality is that that's how we're going to have to deal with it. What I'm going to propose tonight, I want Jesse to talk through how the Norton office would handle this. But one of the things I want to do is, one, set up a system that I would post on the listserv and elsewhere that we also would get those individual complaints so we can start building up a backlog of those. And two, encouraging people to file very, very quickly. Delegate Norton's office is continuing to do casework, but most certainly will be winding down by the fall as she leaves office. And we both, Chair Phinizy and I, invited Robert White to send somebody, but it's so soon after the election that he clearly doesn't have this issue staffed. And so we're in this uncomfortable in-between period. So I think people ought to file fast if we can. Jesse, would you talk us through how your office wants to receive these things, and how we could build a system that lets us see the same complaints you see?
I think you're correct in terms of it being a two-pronged approach. Because this is a systemic issue that's affecting post offices citywide. But that being said, if it's not documented, it's challenging to do things. And like you said, documenting with as much information as possible helps our office. So, you could always open cases with our office, in regards to specific issues regarding, let's say, you or your neighbor's delivery or issues that you've specifically been having with the post office. And the more information you can give our office, the better. Now, that being said, in terms of the systemic issue, on March 17th, the Congresswoman raised this issue with the postmaster, and she included your post office as well as a number of other post offices, and raised that as post offices have been closed during business hours. So we've been in contact with the post office's legislative affairs about the closures to get as much information as we can. Now, on Wednesday, pause here. Now, Wednesday, they did confirm that a lot of this stemmed from the staffing issues, and they've been making adjustments to personnel gaps, and they're going to share more information with our office about those adjustments. And we're going to continue following up with them until we receive a definitive answer. But they have been responsive to us because we have heard from them within the last week. So there has at least progress has been made in terms of identifying the problem.
Can you share with us two things? One, does your office, is there a link to a form you want people?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I could leave that in the chat right now.
Will you put that in the chat? And would you also send it to me, because I'll put together something for the listserv. And then, the other question is, as these conversations continue, we hope, with the postals at the high level of the senior people with the Postal Service, can you let us know what they're saying about, particularly about staffing at the 5600 block post office? Because they're just, their period.
Which block did you say?
It's in the 5600.
No, the 50. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you said 17. I thought you said 17. Yeah, that's the Northwest office.
That's the
So, I mean, other post offices in Ward 3 have had this problem. This has been a problem in Georgetown. We know one of the Georgia Avenue post offices is having this problem as well. Sometimes constituents bring it to our attention, but other times we have to do sleuthing online. So, I mean, we appreciate you guys bringing this to our attention. But this post office, your post office specifically, has been mentioned to the USPS.
Do commissioners have questions or comments? Commissioner Sherman?
Nagy?
Oh, sorry, you want to?
You can take it, Peter.
Okay, Commissioner Nagy.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was going to say, I think Commissioner Sherman and I put our hands up pretty much at the same time. It isn't clear to me, so if you could explain, please, what is the staffing issue that causes them to close randomly during odd times of the day? I haven't actually, I mean, it seems to me they close sometimes at 10 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's completely, you can't predict it, unpredictable when they close. And how is that related to a staffing issue?
That's what we're trying to figure out. That's what we're trying to figure out from them. So we still need to get that information from them.
Okay. I'm not the only one who doesn't understand. Thank you.
Can I go to Commissioner Sherman?
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
Commissioner
Sherman. I will thank you for offering the link that people can use to fill out their complaint. Is that the same link that USPS maintains to file a concern? It's a different link.
This is to open a case with our office with the Postal Service. So then we would liaise with the Postal Service on behalf of you or whoever chooses to open a case.
Okay, just one other thing to note for them. I have filed on behalf of several constituents complaints, concerns going back months, and I've never heard a single thing from USPS. Never even an acknowledgement that they got the complaint. And so I think it's very important. I'm glad we're raising this, and I'm glad you're here, and thank you for being here, because there is a level of exasperation that you're sensing from the community. Hardly a couple days go by, and a week certainly, when you don't see on our Chevy Chase listserv complaints about the post office. And we hear it directly from constituents. So this is an ongoing systemic problem. And I would dare say that there's more than just the staffing issues. I have reports of people who've lost mail, who've lost things at that post office. The post office is chronically plagued, I hate to say. And so this administration, it's not your responsibility, Jesse, obviously. You're representing constituents, but this administration needs to do something, needless to say. So thank you.
I would just add to Commissioner Sherman's point. I have reluctantly gone to e-payment of important bills like my mortgage because last year, in the first 6 months, three of my mailed checks didn't make it to the bank. So lost mail is also a huge problem. So in any case, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes, I just want to acknowledge Commissioner Sherman has said the administration should do something in regards to this. I just want to remind the community that many federal agencies have offered voluntary early retirement packages to federal employees. So when we're talking about the Postal Service, there were about 10,000 employees who took the early retirement option. So, and then a lot of agencies have not been authorized to hire. So I just want everyone to be cognizant of that, of things that's going on with the federal government. The federal government has lost a lot of workers, and I'm sure that, you know, we haven't had those or other opportunities for people to leave the government early, this may not be an option. So, I mean, this may not have happened. So I just want to remind the community about, the things that's been going on with the federal government to include the Postal Service.
Yeah.
In case those may have
Commissioner
forgot it if they're not in the federal community space.
And Commissioner Nagy, do you have a question or are you going to talk about time?
No, I'm not going to talk about time. Sorry. As tempting as that is, I have a comment from a constituent whom I happen to know has some experience with post offices. So the comment was staffing could be at random hours if they're moving clerks around from one post office to another. One clerk may cover just a few hours here and then go to another post office. And that might account for what seems to be the randomness of the closures. So I just thought I would throw that in the mix.
Well, to try to bring this conversation to a close, Jesse, please post the link. Please send it to me. Is there a way that we could make an arrangement with your office that you would copy us on stuff, or is Congressman Norton? There's some limits.
You on what exactly?
On specific complaints. Frankly, I think what we need to do is get armed for the, with no offense.
If a constituent wants to open a case with our office and says they want to share outside information with the ANC, they can write that in the form, and you can be copied on it. That would have to be. They just have to allow that.
Okay, so what I intend to do is put together a sort of a how-to file a complaint post for local social media. I'm happy to draft a resolution for our next meeting, but the only people who really are going to be very useful receiving it are Congresswoman Norton and then the incoming delegate, Robert White. And we're in this sort of uncomfortable in-between period. I mean, I'd be happy to draft it to send to USPS, but as I suspect it'll suffer the same fate as Commissioner Sherman's complaints. Do you want to give me some guidance?
Give you guidance on drafting.
Not you, Jesse. I'm turning to my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Gosselin,
yeah.
Just a thought on this. When I got out of school, I worked for Senator Nunn and then for Senator Feinstein on the Hill, and constituent services were a big part of our work. And the federal agencies do have to respond, but I think it's not only our local representatives, but like if your mail is being affected with somebody in your family, if your family's trying to send you a package from another state, they could contact their senator and their local representative and say, hey, I'm trying to send a picture to so-and-so in DC. And so you could use other national representatives as well to put the pressure on.
So your advice is, as I put together this how-to thing, that I suggest to people, residents of our community, that when something doesn't get to where it's supposed to go, they enlist their relatives or their friends to ping their elected representatives. Got it. Any sentiment on with regard to drafting something, a resolution? Okay, well, we'll leave that for email concerns.
I think so.
Yeah, Brian Hallman, very quickly, and I think we can wrap this up. And Jesse, thank you so much for coming. I know you waited a long time.
This is just a quick question, Commissioner Gosselin, and for Jesse Herman. So my understanding is that in 2022, a new owner acquired the building in which that post office is located. So Fresh Post LLC, a Maryland LLC, with the agent Henry Scott Purcell on Calvert Street, is the listed agent. But my understanding is that they acquired that in anticipation of upzoning along the last 4 blocks. And my question is, if there is a new owner, has that impacted services in that building at all over the last 4 years?
Chair Phinizy, can we stay on topic? The upzoning is not related. Point of order.
Well, and the comments would need to come through, the chair. So, Brian, can you direct, or through Commissioner Gosselin? So let me, please, that it's still related to service of the post office. So I think it's absolutely germane. Can you redirect that here, Brian?
Sure, I'll direct it to Chair Phinizy and to Commissioner Gosselin.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me try to answer this way. Understanding the post office, at least as it's operated in every place I've ever lived and covered as a newspaper reporter, the ownership of the building has precious little effect on the functioning of the post office, because the post office has this serious security problem. I have huge doubts that there's any relationship between ownership of the building. I mean, it might have an effect going forward if, in fact, the building is taken down and a larger building put up, and
Commissioner Gosselin, you're aware of the change in ownership, then, is that?
I'm not, but I don't. What I'm telling you is, I don't think the change of ownership has. It's hard for me to believe that would make much difference.
Okay. All right.
In any case, and does that, I think, also addresses Commissioner Simmons' concern. So with that, I think we are finished with this. I will send around a suggested draft for my how-to post, but and then when I do that, we'll ask whether people.
And maybe we can talk on email. Yeah. And if I may, talk on email about what's the best way to collate and receive people's comments, whether it's a form or the vocal software or the submission to the 3G mailbox. What's the best way to have those kind of all collated? Because that also, if you can aggregate them and sort them, that could be useful. Okay. Yep. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin, and thank you, Jesse. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we have the treasurer's report, and I cannot believe it. We are only running 5 minutes behind. We have made up time. Good job, everybody. Commissioner Sherman.
I'm going to have us help us make up even more time here. So we've had no transactions during the month of June thus far, so there's nothing to report in terms of any expenditures. We have $57,078 in the bank. As all the commissioners know, members of the public, we carry an extraordinary balance in our accounts. The ANC initiated review of our most recent QFR, and based on their satisfactory review of that, they're prepared to recommend the release of our next allotment. So we will be getting 4,000 and change coming sometime soon. There are a couple of minor adjustments of 20 cents here from last year and 21 cents here, which will appear on the next QFR, but they're de minimis, so there's no sense really spending much time on them. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. Do we have any questions? All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to commissioner reports, and typically we go in commissioner number order. So with Commissioner Gore not here this evening, Commissioner Sherman, you are the first one on deck.
I have no particular report to provide, so I'll pass it on to 03.
Commissioner Grunewald.
Yes, the only thing I have, which is a big concern, I have several constituents who are wondering what is happening with DEMPED. Why we haven't heard answers from them regarding our 55 questions, and what the schedule is for engaging the community on the library and community center. At the June 9 meeting, we heard from parents of young children who wanted to meet with the library folks to have a meeting to discuss what parents of young children would like to see in their library. And to my understanding, we haven't, and the library people said yes, they would hold a meeting, but I haven't heard of any updates at all in terms of other engagements with our community for the library community center.
Okay,
So I have constituents inquiring of me what's happening.
Chair
And so
Phinizy,
that's
Chair
what
Phinizy,
I
I
would
have
like
an
to
just a
say
minute.
about my
Commissioner
about
Simmons,
my-
Commissioner Grunewald's still talking.
yeah, that's what I'd like to say about my that's my update for my SMD.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Grunwald. I think we have a comment from Commissioner Simmons, and then maybe, was that a comment or question?
Yeah,
from
yeah, I had an
Commissioner
update in regards to that. So DC Public Library has reached out to the elementary, middle school HSAs or homeschool associations, trying to work with them to engage with parents in the understanding that we are on summer break. So that has happened. And
Okay.
another follow up to Commissioner Grunwald, Chair Phinizy, as I mentioned in email today, DEMPED has acknowledged that they have the 51 questions. They also have acknowledged that they intend to put it up on their website. The person who's responsible for that was on vacation. They were on vacation the day we had our meeting, and they're still on vacation. I know there was some concerns about another person. But as I mentioned, the representative for DEMPED told me they were going to do that, and when they return from leave, that they would do that. So those are the updates regarding that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is something that we need to get on there, because that was the June 4th meeting, and so we're 2 weeks out from that, and they said they would post. Commissioner Nagy.
Thank you. I'm not sure. I do recall an email from the commissioner who was just speaking, but I don't recall it saying all of that. I recall it saying just that Daniel Lyons was out of the office, and that's why the 55 answers had not yet been posted. But I feel like it's probably worth mentioning that I sent an email to Nina Albert today asking for those 55 answers, because I asked for them at the end of the meeting on June 4th. As the meeting broke, I went and spoke with Latrina Owens, the director of real estate, who was at the meeting, and asked her for those. Haven't yet seen them. And they apparently had them in hand on June 4th, the answers to those questions. So it's very hard to understand why we have not yet received them. And I can't imagine why we would have to wait for Daniel Lyons to get back from vacation for the ANC to be able to get answers to the questions that were available on June 4th. It sort of beggars belief.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, just a quick note for members of the community that are on the call. It is a concern of everyone's that families have an opportunity to provide input on anything happening in our community, and particularly regarding the design of the future library and the community center. So that everyone understands this, in response to the 2023 survey, 805 families with children 18 and under responded and provided very specific information with respect to amenities for the community center and library. And then on the 2025 survey, 783 families with children 18 or under responded to a different set of questions, largely around housing, but also concerning the structure of the future buildings at the Civic Core. So I want to dispel any sense that might be out in the community that we as a community and an ANC have not heard from families. We need to continue to hear from families. DCPL, DPR need to continue to engage with families. But the thrust of the resolution that we passed at the last meeting and distributed to DPR, DCPL, and DEMPED today was simply that there is an abundance of information, nearly 7,000 responses over 3 surveys from 23 to 2025, 2023 to 2025, that constitute a fundamental design brief for these facilities. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that. More engagement is necessary, but there's a wealth of information available to the district authorities. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. Commissioner Grunewald? You are still muted.
I wanted to say I agree with Bruce. Absolutely. We have all those surveys, all that information, 7,000 comments. I agree. And we were told at these last meetings that they hadn't, even though this information has been available for a number of years now, they had the library people and the community center people hadn't even looked at it yet, but I guess they have their own schedule. But I just want to say that with regard to library people reaching out to HSAs, well, that's not just completely appropriate. There are people, I don't know of any HSA meetings having to do with the Civic Corps HSA meetings on the library or community center or anything. And so they should be having a schedule for all these things, and this information should be broadly shared on listservs and so on, so that lots of people who can attend these groups, these meetings. And also, doing a little research, I found that the library folks, when they were building libraries in other communities, they did a lot more intensive work with focus groups, and they did their own surveys, and they met with different groups. They met with seniors to find out what their needs were. They met with parents of young children. They met with teachers. They met with this group and that group. And some of my constituents have pointed out that that doesn't seem to be happening in our case. So, summer is coming up. The vacation time is coming up. We're all going to be shutting down. What's the schedule? Why aren't they letting us know what they're doing, what their plans are? When are these meetings taking place? They said they were going to engage deeply with the community. The ANC has already done that, but these groups keep saying, the library people and the community center people keep saying they're going to deeply engage with our community. When is that going to happen?
Thank you, Commissioner Grunewald. And I do think some of those are in the works, but I have on another issue a call in for tomorrow with Martha from the library, so I'll be happy to raise your concern there. Peter.
Yeah,
I think my hand, Chair Phinizy, I think my hand was up before Commissioner Gosselin.
okay.
You are on the right of him in my screen, and so that's
probably because I'm not on video. But my hand was up before his.
Chair
okay.
Phinizy, I'm fine with Commissioner.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Simmons?
Yes, I just wanted to let the community know that DC Public Library and DPR had acknowledged our survey results. So I don't want the community to have the impression that they're ignoring our 2023 and 2025 survey results. They have acknowledged that they're going to utilize the data provided from those surveys. Also, I just wanted to go back, Chair Phinizy, to a previous comment about DC Public Library not reaching out in my email earlier today. That wasn't a question acknowledged. So I had the information and I provided it to the community. So I just wanted the community to know that. And also, I just want to remind the community on the June 9th meeting, DC Public Library and DPR stated that they are in the beginning stages. They also stated and had the slides that said they're going to be doing focus groups, that they're going to go to senior homes. The meeting, I don't know if it was recorded or not, but they specifically said that they do focus groups. They hold community engagement meetings, and they're going to do that for our project. So again, I just want the community to not be misled and think that they are not intending to do that with our community. They're going to do it. We're in the beginning stages, and this isn't something that's going to be rectified within 2 weeks. This is going to be something that takes engagement over many months, and they're going to engage with us. Going back to the HSAs, they're not meeting with HSAs. They're meeting with the HSA presidents. They're meeting with Blessed Sacrament. They're going to reach out to St. John's. They're going to reach out to all the schools and the parent organizations to begin those engagements. So when we get back in the fall, I'm on the board of Lafayette. They're going to attend our events and gather where
Thank
the
you,
parents
Commissioner
are.
Simmons. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Gosselin.
Yeah, I want to say that I share with Carol the concern. I think many commissioners have about the fact that DEMPED has not posted the answers that they said they had June 4th to the 55 questions. Simultaneously, I want to say I think we make a mistake if we paint DEMPED and the library and DPR with one brush. I think that the library and DPR have said they are going to try to do a bracketed community engagement that leaves the question of housing to DEMPED, to the mayor, to this community. But the idea that DEMPED's failure is somehow taints the library's process or DPR's process, I think is a mistake on our part. I would be happy to co-author a letter to DEMPED saying, where are the answers? We need them. But I have a lot of faith in the library and DPR to do a robust process. And I think Commissioner Simmons' report that they're talking to the HSAs is evidence that they're trying to set up meetings of the very sort that Carol talked about a few minutes ago, focus groups, going deep in the community and all sorts of community organizations. And I think we should encourage them and not criticize them for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, again, this is not the time at this stage of the meeting to have a long discussion about what DPR and DCPL have or have not done. I would just only make one comment.
Sorry, no, that was wrong. Sorry.
That's fine. And that is that we're all very well aware of the RFP process and that DPR and DCPL submitted design guidelines that were provided to all the prospective bidders for the Civic Core redevelopment. They did that in anticipation ahead of the release of the RFP in January of 2024. We submitted our survey results in 2023. DEMPED had its survey results in 2023 as well, specifically talking about library and community center features and functions. And so the notion that DCPL and DPR have not had for several years, virtually, information to have incorporated those into the design guidelines that would have informed prospective bidders is something that we've taken issue with in this most recent resolution. So I want to be clear, I'm completely supportive of their further engagement. More engagement is better, it's all good. But they had this information well in advance of the submission of the RFP, and the design guidelines simply did not reflect it. And that's what we pointed out, so that when the community asks, are we being heard? And some of us say, no, not yet. That's where it comes from.
Thank you. Okay. It looks like it's down to SMDO 4 right now. So that's me. I hope I've said it last time, but I really hope everybody gets up to the top of Lafayette-Pointer Park to see the bear carving. It really is tremendous. And every time I go up there, people are just happy. And it's really a great thing to see. And they do ask, how did this happen? And I point out that the ANC was working with urban forestry. We got the stump saved. So if anybody asks you as fellow ANC commissioners, that was part of what we did. But then the Friends of Lafayette Park, from whom you heard earlier tonight, and also one very active parent at Lafayette Elementary School, worked to raise the funds and make them tax deductible. It's great. So please do check it out. It's worth the trip. The other thing I wanted to update is about the field, and to Commissioner Sherman's point. So yes, there is an irrigation system under the field. It broke maybe 7-8 years ago, I think now was the last time it was used, and it was not fixed. As you may recall, the administration was not even going to repair the grass after they installed the new track this summer, and just getting them to lay sod down and water it manually was a big lift and a big gift for us, but they did not fix it. So as the single member district commissioner for that, I was up at 6 o'clock this morning, and I was dragging hoses, and I was hooking them up to water sources and manually watering the field. And that's what I do most mornings, and that's what I do most nights. I have spoken with a member of the HSA grounds and environmental team about this, so that we can get a watering crew, so it won't just be me, but we can have shifts, basically different days of the week, and have different zones, so that the field gets watered not too much in one place, and that also if it rains, people don't have to do it. We also are looking at working. I talked with DCPS capital projects, and they gave us permission to cut the lower end of the field where the grass is really thick, because it doesn't seem to be on a mowing contract yet either. But it looks like, with private effort and energy, we can get the field watered until such time. Because I think if to put in the irrigation system, we would have to tear up the grass again. And there may be a time in the future where we want to do that and do it right. But right now, absolutely not closing off that field again. It got closed off for the better part of a year, and we're going to keep it happy. We're not going to close it off right now. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, I had a question, Chair Phinizy. You said you talked with the HSA environmental. Could you go back, repeat that? I was confused.
So there is a person from the HSA, or I guess from Lafayette, and she said she's going to be working with the HSA. I don't know if they call it the Environment Committee anymore. That's what they called it, or grounds. But she had met with Mr. Buxbaum there and talked about the field and how to kind of get it going. And so then she met with me, and then talked, I walked her through sort of what some of the issues were on the ground. And she's going to kind of go through the cadence of how we might work together to come up with a sustainable kind of group of people to help keep the field going.
Okay. I don't think we have a HSA environmental. We don't have that currently on the HSA, but I don't know if that may be a part of the belonging committee, or we have was it constituent by the name of Kate? Because she's a part of our garden.
No, it was another one. Yes, but I have talked with Kate too, but I think they called it Environment Committee when
we don't currently have that right now.
But it was somebody who had talked with Mr. Buxbaum, and to kind of get some of the parameters to work with the school and, come up with some structures of how to
Okay.
do it, because
And
there
then
is no watering system right
my
now.
last thing about that, do you know if that was included in the current HSA budget that was voted on a couple weeks ago or last week or
What,
ended a couple weeks ago? So I
what
think you
would need,
mentioned that about the HSA paying for watering, and I was asking, do you
no,
know? Okay.
they're not paying for watering.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to know. But
No,
it was kind of like all in the same, the HSA environmental and
no, they're
work on paying
providing,
for the watering
Point of
stuff.
order.
Okay.
We
No.
are way off topic here. Point of order.
I'm sorry,
We're off topic, Chair.
well, I believe it was talking about the field and watering, and that was Commissioner Sherman's original question, and I wanted to talk about what I was doing. But the HSA and I are going, the particular person that I worked with, we're going to work out a schedule so that volunteers can work together to make the watering happen.
Excuse
That
me,
makes sense? Yeah.
Commissioner Phinizy, can you please rule on that point of order?
Sure.
Thank you.
So what rule was broken? You said this is not
I
relevant?
felt that we were off topic.
Okay. I thought we were on topic, so I would say point not well taken.
Well,
because I thought we were still talking about the watering of the field, which is,
Phinizy was asking you about events that happened at meetings elsewhere about other things. So that seemed off topic to me.
okay. No, I disagree, because it was just trying to figure out how the watering was going to happen in conjunction with the HSA.
Yeah.
So I would say point not well taken there, because I think it
Okay.
was trying to figure out how the watering was going to happen with
And then-
in conjunction with HSA.
Okay.
Okay. But I am finished now.
Okay. Well, I was going to move that we adjourn the meeting. That was
But we have three more commissioners.
we have two more commissioners. Oh,
Three, actually, 5, 6, and 7.
my apologies. That went on so long. I thought we were
Okay,
just
sorry. Okay, 5, 6, and
apologies.
7. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, I know you guys are so excited to hear from me. So I just want to alert my constituents on McKinley Street between Broad Branch and Nevada. The speed humps are going to be replaced after that street was paved. I had a couple constituents reach out about that. So the speed humps are tentatively scheduled to return June 24th. So that will help calm our traffic on McKinley. The next thing I want to report out is for my residents on Oliver Street between Chevy Chase Parkway and Connecticut Avenue. So starting tomorrow, and we're expecting this work to go until July 14th, and possibly not starting tomorrow because it's supposed to rain again. But we're expecting installation on our curbs, the sidewalk, gutters, and this is all to make sure that our sidewalks is ADA compliant. So they're going to be doing those repairs. When we have those construction, it's going to be Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So when you see those temporary parking restriction signs, please follow those. And something important to note, and I know we'll probably have to remind this when the winter time comes, is that for a year to not use salt on the new sidewalks, because the salt, the sidewalks and the concrete needs time to cure, and putting the salt down in under a year can cause the sidewalk to corrode, and then we're back at that. So at some point in time, I'll create some flyers and leave them at all the homes to remind people of that now and then when we get back to the winter. And then those are the immediate alerts. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to update the community on is the Civic Corps site is in my single member district. I am aware of the issues there, the bike ramp, the slide. We have work orders for those. I'm very engaged with DPR and I'm aware of that. So if anyone has any other complaints about the site, please send it to me so that I can keep them all together. That is all. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. All right, 06, Mr. Gosselin.
Yeah, very quickly. A new restaurant opened at 5714 Connecticut Avenue, a Wheelhouse, a great addition to the community. Unfortunately, it is causing just what I worried about, which is a complete traffic jam on that small block beside the post office, 39th Street, and what you would not think is Oliver Street, but Oliver Street going up by the
Right.
church.
Yeah.
I talked to DDOT and the Public Works Department, which apparently is where parking enforcement is based. And we're trying to get set up a sweep of that area so that people are ticketed. I've also talked to Eamon Banks, the managing partner. A lot of this parking, illegal parking, is staff, and I despair of getting an easy solution here. I'm afraid this is just gonna we're gonna have to raise the cost to people illegally parking there. Neighbors are in an uproar. Separately, a little bit of good news about the Chevy Chase Circle, the Newlands Wayside exhibit. A federal district court in Boston ruled that all of the material removed under President Trump's executive order needs to be returned and needs to be returned before July 4th. Now, the administration has sought a stay of this, but that stay was denied. And at least as matters now stand, that means the court order still stands. So I have drafted a letter that I'm prepared to send to Brian Joyner, the superintendent of Rock Creek Park. I would invite other commissioners to sign it if they like. Commissioner Sherman has agreed. I'll fix the typos, Bruce. That's the end of my report. My time is up.
I've given people an extra few minutes, couple of seconds to wrap up.
Let me use those extra minutes to just say I would appreciate
minutes, seconds, Peter, seconds.
Excuse me. Can I? What did you go? So I'd appreciate any other commissioners who'd like to sign. I heard sort of via the grapevine that there was some concern about a conflict of interest. So let me just say, to disclose, I also sit as a director on a 501c3, the Friends of Chevy Chase Circle. The Friends were instrumental in getting this wayside exhibit, but so were 19 other local organizations. I did not draft this letter at the behest of, in cooperation with, in any communication with any member of the board of Friends of Chevy Chase Circle, although I did run into somebody having dinner as I had dinner the other night at Birdsong, and we did talk about the circle.
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Simmons.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest, since the circle splits between Commissioner Gosselin and I, that to, avoid any potential conflict of interest, I could, send the letter as well. So just wanted to throw that out there, to minimize any potential looks of conflict of interest, since you're on the board of Friends of Field, writing a letter about Friends of Field. So we could connect offline though.
Okay, but I've sent a copy of the letter. I'm not going to, on the issue, I don't believe there is an issue of conflict, and I am not going to recuse myself on it, but I would be happy to join you and Commissioner Sherman and others in signing the letter.
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin, and thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Commissioner Nagy, 07, bring it home.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Well, I won't keep everybody for too long. Thanks, Peter, for the disclosure, by the way. Chair Phinizy, please thank Commissioner Gosselin. Yes,
thank you, Commissioner Gosselin.
5301 Connecticut Avenue, where the facade is still not repaired. And I think they're coming up on the end of the time that they have to repair it under the notice of infraction, NOI. I can't remember what the I stands for, but so I've reached out to my contact at the Department of Buildings to ask what's going on, and they were also supposed to schedule another inspection of the building to see whether the rest of the facade is structurally sound, or is that going to fall off? Because these are huge pieces. Think of pieces of wallboard multiplied by, sorry, and then start the timer on me. So I'll go down to a minute here to see if they fell on you, you'd be dead. That's all there is to say. And they're, if you're walking around the building, and a number of residents hang out in front of the building, so they are at risk. So I'm still trying to sort that out. As another commissioner mentioned about the bike ramp and the playground and all of that, I had been in touch with Francisco, and he had told me that they had managed to find the funding at my long urging, and now I'm going to try and work on, and perhaps Commissioner Simmons would like to work with me on this to get rid of the gravel that's on the playground and is a hazard to the children who are trying to play there. So we'll get slides, we'll get a slide, and we'll get rid of no, that's a no from Commissioner Simmons. You're not interested in working with me? Okay. No worries, I'll do it myself.
Commissioner Simmons did not say that. Chair Finney, my comment should go through you.
Please go through the wait to be recognized to speak.
Chair Finney, can you ask Commissioner Simmons what the emoji she used was meant to convey, please?
Yes, Commissioner Simmons, I'm not familiar with that emoji.
Oh, it's a surprising face, Chair Finney. I'm just surprised that this is the first time a commissioner has asked to work with me on something in my single member district. In the event when we work, if someone is to work on things in another commissioner's, it's an issue. So I'm just really surprised. Of course, I would like to work on things in my single member district. I appreciate the opportunity to be seen as a colleague, the same level colleague as everyone else, that someone is going to work with me on something on my single member district. So Commissioner, Chair Finney, please let Commissioner Nagy know to reach out to me, send me an email. I would love to collaborate with her. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Finney, could we start please by pronouncing my name correctly after a year and a half?
I'm sorry. Commissioner Nagy, yes, the pronunciation is Nagy, and I am excited that Commissioner Nagy and Commissioner Simmons will try to work together on this. It'll be great for the kids, and I look forward to hearing some good results. Thank you very much. Commissioner Nagy.
Could I suggest we adjourn the meeting very quickly?
Yes. Can we, Commissioner Nagy, did you have anything else that was the playground your last item? Or
no, that's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So thank everybody for their hard work. Sounds like people have been very busy, not so much summer vacation, it's just summer work. So is there, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
That was a race. Okay, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I think we may have lost Commissioner Grunewald. I don't see her online.
I don't see Commissioner Grunewald. Thank you. I'm going to note that. I don't see her on the meeting. So I will, but we still have a quorum. So I'll make a note of that for her. And this is 5-0. The meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.